Hey there, my name is Chris Acton with Acton Creative, and this is A Handwoven Experience, episode 30. In this episode, well, we're going to talk about the great debate. See, as humans, it's kind of in our nature to pick a side, right? Do you like the Cubs or the White Sox? Do you cheer for the IU Hoosiers or the Purdue Boilermakers? Do you like Jif or Skippy? Which, by the way, is not really a debate because Jif wins hands down. So in the weaving world, our great debate is how do you set up the loom? It's called dressing the loom. What method do you use to get the yarns from the cones, like I have on my shelf, into your loom? And there's two options here. You can do it front to back or the other way, back to front. Seems kind of logical, right? And in a lot of cases, you go with whatever method you were taught. You didn't know any different. So you learned that's the way you put the project into the loom. And that was exactly the case for me. I am a front to back girl, and it wasn't until I joined the Duneland Weavers Guild that I realized that almost everyone else in the guild did it differently than I did, which is fabulous. And also a little confusing because I didn't know there was another way to do it. So let me kind of walk you through what the differences are, the best I can explain it at least. So, like I said, I do it front to back. This is the front of the loom here, and you can tell that because your moving piece, the beater bar, is at the front. That's always at the front of the loom. So for me, when I wind a project on and I'm getting ready to put it into the loom, I start with putting all the yarns in the reed. The reed is this piece that's part of the beater bar here. And because this all comes apart, I can sit at a table and I can put each yarn through the dents of the reed, getting everything evenly spaced. So then when that's all finished, I will bring the whole project with the reed over to the loom and I will thread my heddles. The heddles are these little silver guys that will help determine what your pattern will be in the project. Now, if you do it the other way, you have the project all ready to go and you start with the heddles. And then you end up with the reed and wind it on from there. And what was interesting for me is that I did a class once upon a time, and the project I was working with, the yarns were particularly sticky, and I had real trouble doing it my method, going from front to back, because if you do it that way, all of the yarns have to run through both the beater bar / reed and the heddles. They all have to move through it. So if they're sticky, they can keep catching at different points here. If you do it from back to front, it's a much quicker, they just have to, the first little bit has to go through. So there are definitely advantages to both. And like I said, a lot of it is just how you were taught. And depending on what kind of projects you want to do, what kind of materials you want to work with, one or the other might work better for you. And for my non-weaving friends, here's what I suggest. If you know someone who's a weaver, just go up and ask them, say, which way do you dress your loom? Front to back or back to front? They'll be so impressed. So that's what I've got for you today, the great debate. Which way do you dress your loom? Have a great week, my friends. Happy weaving.